Good evening, our raging fans. We are back, past, present, and we're missing the third person, so we're changing the name to just past and present, guys.
Just the past and present. That's it. About that playback.
Well, I guess playback's pretty cool, but we need the skeleton. Actually, the skeleton would come in useful right now. But I got my jack-o'-lantern on, if you guys can see.
Yeah, I
It's
mean we're getting pretty close
Halloween,
to
Halloween,
Halloween.
Halloween season. Yep,
Just about. Well,
and
by the time these come out, it should be around that time, even closer.
even though we're missing Zach, it's all right. We all have stuff going on. My dog recently have some having some issues with his back and neck after a hike, so I had to rush him to the vet a
Scary.
couple. Yeah, he's real slow, but he's better now. Took him. I'm just keeping him on close watch, a lot of rest.
Yeah,
Take him on the leash and the harness. Don't let him run right now. He's on close watch right now. Just
yeah.
no stairs. No, hardly any stairs either.
Just gotta hopefully that it's something that'll he can just recover from.
Yep.
Like nothing too serious.
Yeah. He seems better today, but he was on a lot of pain meds. But
Yeah,
that's what the vet told me too. That's what the vet told me too. She's like, even though he may seem better, keep him, no running, and not a lot of exercise right now. Just
yeah.
let him.
Because the pain meds, he's not feeling anything, so
Yeah.
he's kind of like,
Yeah. He
oh,
thinks
I'm
he's
good.
back. Oh, yeah. Then he wants to go run again.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, how you been doing?
Doing all right. Tired. Feel like
Yeah.
I'm always tired at this point. But other than that, I've been doing all right. It's been pretty just slow weeks at work and not really doing much. Yeah, that's it. Just working. Besides working, I'm working on a video game and trying to
Cool.
work on that a little bit in my spare time and just watching some shows and stuff like that.
Nice. Yeah.
How about
That's
you?
cool. I'll have to
Anything
come check
up to
that out.
anything else besides with Gordon's health and
Just
everything?
yeah, just playing video games when I can. Got the new NBA 2K just now, and I've been playing on my Switch recently. Been playing Vampire Survivor on Switch because I spent the $5 because I wanted to get it on the Switch because I like the joystick. I like the joystick better than my phone. It's still
Yeah.
cool on the phone, but I wanted the joystick, and it was only $5.
No, it's
And I got that
wicked
for
cheap.
yeah. It's not
And it's
terrible.
a
So I've been
great
playing.
time waster game.
Yeah, it helps me take my mind off things too. I love the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Just run around, rank yourself up, and collect those little diamonds, those little coins, blue,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you call them.
Yeah, the EXP things or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, been playing that. Been playing Pokemon Red a little bit on my Mio Mini, trying to got to the third gym badge.
Okay.
I just beat Misty.
Okay.
No, second.
Now you're off to go meet Bill.
Yeah. Yep. But I think you're supposed to go back to that previous gym because you need the Misty badge to get. But then you have to go all the way back through the woods, Viridian Forest or whatever.
I think you're supposed to just do all the loop and then
Go to Bill first.
You go
Yeah.
back to the second gym because that's Giovanni's gym, but he's not there till after.
That's right.
You beat Team Rocket.
Yeah, you have to beat. Yeah, because I got the fossil in the mountain in Mount Moon. Got the fossils and yeah, so I've been playing that and so yeah, I'm just playing games in between working. And a little bit of Arceus, but I wanted to love Arceus or whatever, however you pronounce it. But I want to replay Red, Fire Red, because that's been on my list longer on my backlog. I want to replay Fire Red especially with the save states are nice on this thing.
Yep.
The in the fast forward is nice. Then I'll play Arceus after Fire Red.
Nice.
Probably. Then I eventually want to play. Speaking of Pokemon, Hey You Pikachu, isn't it a kind of a?
It's an awful game.
Isn't it supposed to be a spin-off of or a remaster of Pokemon Yellow?
Hey You Pikachu? That's the N64 game.
Oh no, the one for Switch. Isn't there one for
Yeah.
Switch
Oh
that's?
yeah, that's the remakes of the originals. Yeah, Red and Blue
Yeah, yeah,
again.
yeah.
So you want to play
Yes, there's no
Fire
need for
Red
there's
and
no
then
no
play
no
the remake of it
no there's
again.
no, no. I'd rather do Heart Gold or Soul Silver after this, but I think I might just go to Arceus after I finish Fire Red
Yeah.
because I love that game. It's just that is relaxing too. That is relaxing, and because it's open zone,
Yeah.
it's cool to sneak up on Pokemon and just do your own thing
Mm-hmm.
and fill your Pokedex. Anyways, this is not you already. Hopefully, you guys already heard our Pokemon episode. Um, but tonight we're talking about. I kind of teased you guys a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Then it's case
Take it
thing.
out of the case. Yeah. Talk about these little guys. These are for your feet, right? You play them with your toes.
Yeah, feet helds. What they're called.
Feet helds. But yeah, these are talking about handhelds tonight.
Yeah.
So
we're just talking about just in general, I believe, some different handhelds that we've owned and whatnot. I've got a few here that I'm gonna show off, but not till probably much later for a lot of them. Sean, what was your first handheld? I think we kind of went over this a little bit during the Pokemon one, but
yeah, my first was the Game Boy Color.
Probably gloss over it a little bit more in terms of the first one, but yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna stick to the hardware too. A little bit. Can talk about games briefly, but yeah, my first was the Color, Game Boy Color. The
Same here.
The tail one. It was like the light blue. I love that one. Love that
I had
color.
the green. And
yeah,
something that I'm going to come up to talking about later, which is the Analog Pocket. They just released new versions of it, where it's in the classic Game Boy Color colors. And
that's cool. I like the atomic purple.
I really, really want to get the green one, but I don't need to spend another $250 on another one of these because I already have one.
Yeah, those are cool. I like the atomic purple.
Yeah, they
always
have
wanted
they have a purple colored one and everything. Yeah, it's really cool.
But anyway, yeah, that was my first. Is the Color.
Same here.
Just the form factor, it was new for its time. It was even though it wasn't backlit, it was the best experience because you're pretty much playing an NES in your hands. And when I played Super Mario Brothers Deluxe on that, I remember getting that as a kid. It was unbelievable. I was in paradise. I loved it.
Yeah.
And then since then, obviously I built up my library, and then I started, taking it places with me, and it was just revolutionary. That's really the one that. So before that, it was the Neo Geo and the Game Gear. No, Game Gear was the same time as the original Game Boy, I believe. Game Gear was.
Yeah, it was Game Boy.
Well, my first was.
No, well, yeah, it was Game Boy, and then the Game Gear came out, and then the Game Boy Color came out shortly after that, or something like that.
What was the Game Boy Pocket after the?
Well, the Pocket, was like a refresh
Pocket and the
of
Color.
the Game Boy.
Yeah. The little. Speaking of the form factor, that little notch on the. Oh, I should have brought it down here, but if you guys know what a Game Boy Color, little notch on the battery case, a little more comfortable to hold than the Pocket. Then I'll talk a little bit more about the other Game Boys when I started collecting. But anyways, how about you? What was your favorite? What was your first?
My first actually was the Game Gear. Technically, I did have a Game Gear before I had a Game Boy.
Really?
Yep. Before I got the Game Boy Color, a few years later. So the Game Gear definitely was like one of the first ones that I had. Thing took 4 batteries. It lasted like maybe 2 hours, and then it would die. And they were like not small. They were the C-size batteries, if I remember correctly. Maybe it was double A. But it also came with an adapter, so you could plug it into the wall and just play it through that way. That's I think I used to play it a lot because it just wouldn't last long for car rides and stuff like that. But I wasn't very good at gaming when I got that. So I only had a few games like Sonic. There was like a couple Sonic games, and I think one of those like a Bejeweled type games.
Yep.
I think it's called Columns or something like that. But yeah, I'd play those. But I didn't really play it a lot, and I don't know what happened to it. I think it just got stored in the basement and then lost with the flooding. like everything else. I do have another one I bought a few years ago. I do plan to maybe someday do some modifications to it because I want to make it have a better screen and stuff like that. But it runs really well right now. Um, it said it was broken, and I got it, and it works perfectly fine. Nothing, none of the buttons are broken. Everything feels great. It just, I don't think they put batteries in it.
Yep.
It even came with the AC adapter, so I'm able to even plug it in and just play it in the wall. So, yeah, I mean that was my
That is
first, and then I moved on to the Game Boy Color. Kind of talked about it in the Pokemon episode, so I'm just gonna kind of gloss over some of the stuff. But I got the green one. I got Pokemon Blue as my
Yep.
first game. But I also had a few other games. I had like Tony Hawk. I had a dinosaur game from the movie Dinosaurs from like Disney. Remember that one? It was like CGI mixed with the real
Yeah.
world stuff, and like a meteor is coming or
Not Land
something.
Before Time.
No, not Land
Not
Before
Land
Time.
Before.
This was 3D. It was a 3D CG.
Okay, I don't remember
Came
that
out
one.
in like 99, maybe 98, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like a mixture of real world photography for the backgrounds, and the game was awful. It was like a top down like adventure game, kind of trash.
Yeah.
And then I got the like Legend of Zelda games, the Oracle of Seasons and Ages. I believe Ages was first that I got, and then I got Seasons after that. And then there's probably a few others in there, but I can't really remember. Oh, Pokemon Silver. That was the other one that I had for that, and Yellow. I think that's mainly the main things that I can
And
remember.
just the fact that I'll add the fact that you could play that whole library, and the fact that the Game Boy Color upscaled the original Game Boy games with with the color frames and it was
Yeah,
cool. That
for
was
certain
awesome.
games
That
you
was
could change
awesome.
out the palettes and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yep.
I don't
Yep.
think I had any
I
regular
played.
Game Boy games for it though.
I had Smurfs, which was an original Game Boy game, which was fun. I had. Oh my gosh, what else? Like Uno, like a basic card game.
Hmm.
Um, what else? Top Gear Pocket 2, which I play sometimes today because I have it on my Mio emulation. Um, but anyways, not my next one was. Then I went over to the just check my list because it's such a long time ago. Went over to the
He
went over to the
jumped.
PSP.
He had a big jump. I went to the next
Yeah,
Nintendo generation of things.
yeah,
I had a
yeah,
GBA. This isn't my original. This is a modded one. I've shown
yeah.
it in the videos on the ARC channel, TCG Boys. If you're not watching on there, go check that out. But I have a video where I show you how to mod this and make this into this. Right now there is a game in here. I'm playing Castlevania. I haven't played it in like a year. It's just been sitting in here. But I got like the rechargeable battery on here. It's got a new screen, the buttons and everything. The only thing that's original in this dang thing is I think the board and the speaker. I didn't change out the speaker. But yeah, it runs really well. I got this and did this because I really was dying to get this, but you couldn't get it because it was sold out during the pandemic and all that crap. But then I got the special edition one here that I'll talk about later. And yeah, I mean, after that, I jumped into what Sean's on as well, I believe.
Yeah.
No, actually, nope.
PSP.
Nope. I actually got the DS first. That's right. But then, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So when I had with for PSP, obviously the form factor, it was ergonomic in your hands. It felt great in your hands. Screen was great for its time. Rechargeable, backlit, whole 9 yards. So huge step up from the color.
Hmm.
Rechargeable battery, everything. Connecting to internet, it was ahead of its time. Collect Wi-Fi capabilities, playing online.
This was what,
Trying to remember the games.
2004, 2003, I think?
Yeah, came out in 04, I believe. Yep. And the games for that used to play basketball a lot, like I still do today. Sports, and a lot of NBA. Used to play Grand Theft Auto, Liberty City Stories was great. That whole series of GTA games.
Hmm.
But anyways, just as far as the hardware, it was just huge step up for me as a gamer.
Hmm.
But coming back to that today, I played it more since I soft modded it, jailbroke it. Now it's just takes it to a whole new level, and I still play it. haven't been playing it much as of late because I've been playing my Miu Mini more because of the retro achievements and my original PSP, even jailbroken, for some reason cannot connect to my Wi-Fi, even though I checked the security settings and the encryption and everything. But I don't need Wi-Fi on it. I just like it emulates jailbroken. It emulates PS1 games, awesome, perfect. They play perfect, and you can use the analog stick. A lot of PS1 games did not utilize that DualShock controller because that came out later at the end of the life cycle. So a lot of the PS1 games that you can emulate, you can change those settings. Like, it's such a nice menu when you're emulating when you're playing PS1 games on a jailbroken PSP. Just go into your controller settings. When you hit select, quick button, you can just change the layout to Type 4, and then you can utilize the analog stick. And those games are perfect because, as I said, a lot of those games don't require they still play well. But I got more use out of it now than trying to remember what else I played as a kid. Really, I'll probably remember. I should have made a list, but just just crazy ahead of its time. The thing, you could pretty much have a mini pocketable PS2 because those games were so awesome. The whole library, Burnout games were awesome. Burnout Legends, not Paradise, that's a new one. Burnout Legends and Dominator is the other one for PSP.
Takedown, I think, was also on there.
No, Takedown was original Xbox. Burnout 3 Takedown is
on the PS2
and
also?
Xbox.
Yeah, I had them. Yeah, but didn't they have a Burnout 3 Takedown for the PSP?
Well, they had.
Or no?
Well, they had two of them for the PSP. It was called Burnout Legends and Burnout Dominator, I believe. They just renamed it. It's pretty much the same game, but they just, it's just a different version. I don't know why they can't just call it Burnout 3 Takedown, yeah. What else? But yeah, that thing was one of my favorites. Still is today. But
I hate the PSP.
Yeah.
I think it's trash.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the fact that it's only got one thumbstick.
Yeah.
I don't like the load times. They take forever. The battery was trash. I never really used it.
You like the original DS better than the PSP?
Yeah, a million times better. I had both the DS and the PSP around when they were coming out. I think I got the PSP a little bit after that. But I had played like a few games on the PSP. I played a God of War game. I forget which one. It's whichever one you like. It's
Ghost
like
of
the
Sparta.
prequel. Ghost of Sparta, I think it was.
Yeah.
I played that one. I played a Splinter Cell game on it, which was actually pretty good. It was probably the best game that I played on the damn thing. I think I had a racing game. I don't remember which one. I didn't have many games for it, and every game that I did get for it, I just, for the most part, didn't really enjoy that much. I didn't like it at all. The internet was awful on that thing. Trying to do ad hoc stuff was trash. I just was not a fan.
Browser on that thing was very early stages. It was not very intuitive.
I was not a super fan of that. But the DS, which I had, I was a major fan of. I got back into Pokemon on the DS. I started playing a lot more of my Game Boy Advance games on the DS because it has backwards compatibility. I didn't have to worry about that weird disc thing, and if you moved the console too fast, it would start loading again because it got stuck.
You bring up a good point. It was a good concept, UMDs, but
they're fragile as heck.
They're fragile as heck, absolutely. And then the case will crack if you don't have it in a case. If you just have them loose in your carry on or whatever. If you're traveling, so you need the actual game cases to protect them, which is stupid because if you just have them in a case, they crack so easily. But it's cool to have a multimedia. It was MP3 player, it was movies, it was everything, which was a cool concept, but they just didn't execute it well with the UMDs. But what are they going to do at the time? Like, what's the alternative? You can't put movies on a cartridge. You can't put.
No, you can. The Game Boy Advance had movies and TV shows. It was just they weren't really great. They were displaying on.
Yeah, you're right.
This. In really bad quality. But it was a thing you could do. They did have episodes of shows, and some movies like Shrek, and I think there was SpongeBob for
Yeah,
one of them. But this
yeah,
had the better games, if you ask me. But
yeah,
this
yeah.
was um, this was already obsolete by the time that the PSP came out, because the PSP and the DS came out around the same time.
And the SP came out around the time of the DS too, because it was like the end of the life cycle
No,
of
that would be the
the
micro.
GBA.
The micro was the end of the life
Oh,
cycle for
that's
the
right.
GBA,
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. The micro.
which that one came
Yeah.
out after the DS was already out, and that's why it didn't sell well, and now why they're super expensive, because there just wasn't a lot in the market. Because I would like to get one eventually, just to have one.
Yeah. Me too. Me too.
But
Um,
yeah, I mean the
and
DS was
hopefully,
my preferred.
and hopefully, you guys can talk me. We'll get to that debate towards the end. I have something planned for you guys to hear your thoughts on something, but on a topic. But anyways, so yeah, PSP was one of my favorites. Then Zach, hope he feels better. He had some,
Yeah, he's not
not
feeling well today.
not feeling so hot, not feeling so hot. But he gave me his original DS, the silver one.
Hmm.
Didn't even charge me for it. To this day, he doesn't really remember. But we were in his basement one. We were in his basement. I remember it like yesterday because I love that. I love most of my handhelds were hand me downs from my friends. Like as a kid in high school, whatever. Zach's like, you want who? I forget how it came up. He's like, I don't use this anymore. I think we were talking about like Pokemon games. Forget, and he's like, you guys were like, you don't have a GBA, and then someone said like, someone was like, oh, Zach's like, I don't use this anymore. He's like, you want it? I'm like, yeah, how much you want for it? And I think I did give him some money, but it was like cheap.
You can
And
give
he
him
was
like
like,
50
here.
bucks or something.
Yeah, I gave him like 30, 20 or $30. Not even. I don't think I gave him 50. I think it was like $30, and he's like, sure. He just wanted to get rid of it. He didn't care. He didn't care at all. And he gave me the Fire Red cartridge, which is original, which is worth money now.
Yeah.
The original press of the Fire Red cartridge for GBA. But so I played that Fire Red. Didn't really play it that much because I was mainly at that point I was playing. During that time, early 2000s, I was playing PS2 and then Xbox 360 when that came out. So I
Those
kind
aren't
of stepped
handhelds.
away from hand. Well, I'm just saying I stepped away from handhelds. I know I stepped away. So during that time, I really, after the PSP, I kind of played DS a little bit, the ones that gave me, but I played it more um, recently when I started collecting again because I have a better library. But so yeah, you're up now. So I just went over the DS and the PSP.
Yeah.
Um, and one more thing I'll say about the PSP DS is the stylus was cool to have
Yes.
the two screens, and the Nintendogs was cool.
Yep.
Had
Nintendogs
the
was a
trick.
popular one. Brain Age was another popular one that a
Yep.
lot of people
Yep.
had. There was the Pokemon
Yep.
games that were popular. One of my favorite games to utilize both the screens properly is The World Ends With You. Fantastic game. It's out on the Switch now. It's not as good on the Switch. It's a little wonky. I guess it's better if you do it in handheld mode because you can use the touch screen and stuff like that. But basically, what they did was your main character was on the bottom screen. You use your DS to control him, and certain motions that you did with that would do your attacks and stuff like
Yep.
that. You'd like do a circle around enemies, and it would like do a fireball spell or something like that. You draw like a lightning bolt over them and do lightning strikes. Um, but then on the top screen, your partner is fighting, and they're moving around on their own, but you also can command them to do attacks at the same time. So you're focusing on both screens at the same time, one to control your
Yep.
character and the other one to control the other character and to fight all the creatures. And once both the screens are cleared, that fight's over. And it was an awesome game. They did come out with a sequel recently, a few years back. It came out on the Switch. I have it, but I haven't played it yet. I don't know if it's actually good or not. But it didn't sell well, and it
Nice.
killed the series, unfortunately, which sucks because they didn't market it at all. It just randomly came out one day, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, that sucks.
But yeah, I mean, the DS was awesome. You also had the Metroid game that came with it for free if you got the original DS. Not a full game, but it was like a demo where you could try out even the multiplayer and all that stuff, which was really fun and cool to have. I remember I got one, and both my brothers for Christmas got DSs as well. We all got to play that together. That was a fond memory I have of that.
I remember when we were
Oh,
little.
there's
I
Mario
always
Kart, which
remember.
is just always fun to play
Oh
on
yeah,
that.
that's a must. One of my favorites. But I always remember your brother playing the when you guys had PSPs playing Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. I remember that. He was glued to his
We never
PSP.
owned it, but sure.
Oh,
I only borrowed it from Zach once and never finished it, and then played
okay.
it again finally on PlayStation 3
Yeah,
when it came out in the collection.
yeah, that's a good one though. But
If you
yeah,
watched the episode from last week, Zach and we ranked all the Kingdom Hearts characters, and I don't remember any of them, their names. And I go on a rage bait, not a rage bait really, but yeah, I just go give my full feelings on Birth by Sleep and how I'm not a huge fan of it. And
yeah,
it's
I
Zach's
never.
like favorite. We have
Yeah, it's just one
exact
of his
opposite
favorite
views of
games.
that game.
Yeah, yeah. He played it on PSP too. Yeah.
Yep.
So then next for me is the original 3DS. So this came out in what, like 2014, 2015, the original 3DS, 2013.
Yeah, I got
when
it the day it came out.
launch, right?
I was a launch
Yep.
buyer along with Nelson, our friend Nelson. Him and I remember this. We were so pumped for it. We were like, "That is so cool! 3D without glasses. That's such a cool idea."
Yep.
It was expensive, but it was the first console I bought with my own money.
Yep.
I remember we got up wicked early. I slept over his house. I slept over with Paul and Zach at the time, and we went and we got
Yep.
it at GameStop. And then we came back and we played Street Fighter 4 against each other for a long time.
Oh, so all three of you got 3DSs?
No,
That's
they
awesome.
didn't. Just me and Nelson. The other two didn't get it. It was too much money. I don't think Zach had a job at the time, and if he did, he just wasn't interested in getting it because none of the games interest him, and Paul just wasn't interested in spending money on it.
So you guys played Street Fighter.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Street Fighter 4. Nice.
I believe it was 4, right? 3 or 4, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because there was like 4 games. It was Pilot Wings, it was Street Fighter, Steel Divers. Maybe it was only 3. There might have been one more game. Yeah.
No, I've since I jailbroke my 3DS with XL, which I'll talk about a little bit. That's one of the games that I've had fun with is Street Fighter 4. It's very good on that because that was one of the launch titles. I downloaded that. Great game.
Yeah.
Played a little bit of it. Yeah, so I had the 3DS too, but I got it a couple years after because at the time the 3DS XL was coming out.
I own so many 3DSs. I kind of hate myself for it.
I know, right? My coworker,
almost every Zelda edition.
Yeah, I got the hand-me-downs. My coworker was like, "Hey," he's like, we were talking about handhelds at work, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm picking up the XL, so I don't play that anymore." He's like, "I'll sell it." I'm like, and I got such good deals on these things. Like, he gave me a good deal. Like and these people were cool. Like they were either close friends or they were friends at work, and I think I got it for like $50 or something, $75. It was cheap. I forget, but I didn't overpay for it. It was in great condition. It was the black one, the solid black. Lost it on a plane, which I'm so mad about. And I tried to go back to the. Once I realized it was gone, I left it on the plane. We were like halfway through the airport, so I turned around, kind of speed walk / jogged back to the terminal. Couldn't get back. No flight attendants. They were probably already cleaning up the plane, or the plane already moved. So I was like, damn it. So I went to the lost and found security, lost and found, nothing. So that was it. So it was gone. Lesson learned: if you're ever traveling, do not put anything in that front pocket. Just put it right back in your carry-on. Like if you bring a backpack, it's perfect because you can just slip the stuff in and out of your backpack. Like it's right under your seat. So just put the stuff back in your bag right when you're done with it. Because it was a red-eye flight, and I think we were tired. And the 3DS the original 3DS is kind of small. Like it's easy to just forget about that because it's in that slot.
You always do a 3-point check. You check where your bag was, you check the back of the pocket, and you check the upper compartment if you put anything in there.
Yeah. Yep. Learned my lesson, and it was a late flight. It was like back from, I think we were coming back from Las Vegas. Yeah.
Was
We're
that the
coming back
one
from Vegas.
when? If that was Vegas, then that was right after you guys were nearby that shooting in Vegas, right?
Well, that no, I think that was the first time we were in Vegas.
Ah,
Um, yeah, because the shooting was 2017. I'll never forget that. I was like in the next casino. But anyways, I'm not going to talk about that.
yeah, we are not
Uh,
talking
yeah,
about that.
yeah,
That
yeah. But anyways, yeah, that was my first time going to Vegas, and yeah, lesson learned. It was a late flight. But um, I have a trip coming up, and I think I'm just bringing my Switch. There's really kind of no need to bring my Mio. I'm not going to be playing many video games either, but it's cool to just have the OLED on the plane to um, play some Mario Kart, play some.
There's a new Legend of Zelda game coming out.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Zelda Wisdom game comes out like next week.
Cool. I
Yeah.
have to check that out. And
I mean, technically,
yeah,
the Switch is a handheld too. So.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. So then I went to. Oh, you want to go now? Sorry, I covered the 3DS. Or do you want me to talk? I'm going to talk about Switch next.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of talked about it. I said I got it when it came out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of games that I played on it. A lot more Pokemon games, the Luigi's Mansion games, a bunch of Mario games, Metroid. There's so many. I had so many. Project Cross Zone, 1 and 2. I can't think off the top of my head other games right now. The Fire Emblem games. There's a lot of games. There's a huge library. There's almost something for everybody in that library of 3DS. It was also backwards compatible with DS. It was not backwards compatible with Game Boy Advance. But there's just so many editions of it that came out as well. So I have the original. I have the XL. I have the Ocarina of Time edition. I think there was one. I have the Majora's Mask edition when that came out. I did not get the 2DS, the Hylian Shield one, which I wish I did at this point. And I didn't get what I wanted also, which is the Metroid one, because I didn't even know it existed until a few years ago, and it looks sexy as hell. And if anybody wants to sell it to me for like $300, I will buy it in cash.
That's awesome. Yeah, so real quick before I talk about the Switch, another hand-me-down, Kyle's girlfriend gave me her old 3DS XL, the Pokemon XY edition.
Mm-hmm.
If you look back on TCG Boys, if you guys check that out, we did an episode of opening that bad boy up, and you can make fun of me how I struggled with the ribbons and all that jazz. And yeah, you you need a lot of patience for those episodes.
There's a lot. They're a lot more complicated than opening up a Game Boy.
Yeah, 3DS XLs are. You need to be careful. There's a lot. Just have take more time consuming than the older consoles. The older, yeah. So yeah, I got that from her. That one I think she just flat out gave to me. She's like, I don't play this anymore. Here you go. I'm like, really? I'm like,
But she gave you that for like $100.
Yeah, I think I gave her something. I Venmo'd her, maybe. I think I Venmo'd her. But anyways, I got that from her. My first console that I bought for a while, besides hand-me-downs, like went to a retail store and picked one up, is the Switch Animal Crossing Edition. And
that's your first console you've bought yourself? You didn't buy like the Xbox One?
Handhelds.
Oh, handhelds.
No, handhelds. I'm saying for handhelds, yeah. No, I definitely bought Xbox One, Master Chief Collection. Or Master Chief.
Master Chief Collection? You bought the game. Good job.
Yeah. Yeah, with the bundle. I bought the bundle that came with the... Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, the Switch Animal Crossing, finally picked one up. Joy-Cons broke after a year. And I tried to... I'm not going to name the store, but I tried to... Because it'll just piss me off if I talk about them. But I tried to... You guys might know, as I keep talking about it, I tried to go get... I'll give you a hint. I tried to go trade something. No, I'm just kidding. But I went back with the warranty, and they didn't have any available, so I would have had to wait for them to come back in stock in the warehouse, or they'd just give me a full... Because I did have the warranty, luckily, but I didn't want to wait for them to come back in stock, which might have been a while because those were limited edition. So who knows when they're going to get them back?
They're not limited edition anymore. You can literally walk into a store and buy them anytime now. Nintendo released
nice.
a bunch more. You can literally, if you want one, you can go out and buy it.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. That's good to know.
They released a bunch more. So it's flooded in the market now.
Nice, and then what they did was they gave me the full credit for that, which I paid, and then then I just paid the difference to get a Switch OLED because the Switch OLEDs were just coming out, so I was like, might as well just get the OLED, which is an awesome decision because I love that screen.
The OLED is nice because it's a really good screen.
Yeah,
I mean, anything OLED, I'm a huge fan of at this point because like I have my OLED TV behind me. I also have the Switch OLED now. I finally upgraded when the Zelda edition came out because I got that one.
Yep.
I guess I can.
Oh, by the way, the Zelda that's coming out, is that
It's a top down.
Is that going to be an open world?
No.
Oh, okay.
It sets place in the Link to the Past world, but I got the symbols on the back. The Joy-Cons are somewhere. This is the OLED. This is the Zelda OLED one.
And such a nice stand on it too. Yes. One of the best stands. Going horizontal the whole way across the.
The stand is definitely much better, less flimsy feeling, and it's easier to actually kick the stand out.
Yeah, and pretty soon they're coming out with the Switch 2.
Yeah, well, whatever they're gonna call it. People are just codenaming it Switch 2 because we don't know what it's called. Probably know it could be Nintendo Go Fuck Yourself.
yeah.
And you control it with your butthole.
Yeah, probably.
But
probably. And they still would sell.
Oh no, it totally would.
Anyways, they can sell shit on a stick on a freaking console. That thing will sell.
I don't know. The Wii U didn't sell, so the GameCube didn't sell. Sometimes Nintendo puts stuff out, even if it's good, because like. Not to get off track too much, but the GameCube, I love the GameCube. One of my favorite consoles. Had some fantastic games. Didn't sell well, didn't last long. The Wii came out, we sold really well. Wii was doing fantastic. It sold much higher numbers of everything. It's one of their best-selling consoles of all time.
Yeah.
It did have backwards compatibility at first to the GameCube, which was awesome. And then they came out with the Wii U. People were confused because they named it poorly. But I did get it eventually, the Wii U, and honestly, it's a solid console. It just didn't have the game support really, which kind of sucked. But it had great games. Almost every great game that's on there has come out on the Switch now. So it doesn't really even matter. You can just play all those awesome games a little bit better on the Switch.
Yeah.
But it was a fun system. I really liked it. I'm just sad that we don't have a Wind Waker and Twilight Princess yet on the Switch, because that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, true. So the Switch, the Joy-Cons were cool. What else about the hardware? The stand. The OLED was awesome.
I do have the PS Vita. Cool. I forgot about that too.
Oh, yeah, we could talk about that. The Joy-Cons and not only the screen, the form factor, the idea of just plopping it in your dock and switching it to handheld mode versus dock mode is awesome. It doesn't take too much space. You have even with a case. Like, I'm not talking about accessories because I do have a controller that lights up.
You got your controller. I also have a crazy controller like that too.
Yeah. But when I go on vacation,
I also have the Switch Pro controller. I love that controller. Anyway.
Oh, that's a nice controller. But talk a little. When I go on vacation, I'm just taking the Switch itself with a few games. I have a lot of digital games on it too, so I'll just take a few physical games. Like I'll probably just take Mario Kart and Super Smash. Probably take. Yeah, but anyways, definitely need to spend more time with it because I play more Xbox Series X and PS5, but definitely going to give it some more time to get through that backlog. Maybe I'll check out that new Zelda game.
Yeah.
See how I like it.
Yeah, I mean, did you
Yeah,
play the other one that came out? The other top down, the Link's Awakening remake?
I have not.
You probably really like that one. That one,
Yeah,
it's not
that was for
open
Switch.
world. Yeah, it's not open world.
Okay.
It's a remake of the original Game Boy slash Game Boy Color, because they did Link's Awakening,
Yep.
then Link's Awakening DX, which was just a re-release with it being in full color for Game Boy Color. But yeah, they made a remake of it, and it's awesome.
And
It was a lot of fun.
that's what's the name of it again? I want to put it in my
It's
list.
Link's Awakening, the remake, Nintendo Switch. Should be
Yeah,
able
I'll
to
have to
find
check
it.
that out. Switch. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Nelson, that was like not one of Nelson's first ones that he's finished, and he loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing with Nintendo first party games. Zelda, obviously, Mario Kart, Mario Golf, Mario Party. I still play that with my wife. We play Super Rush. No, that's sorry. Super Rush is the golf game. Superstars is the Mario Party.
Yeah,
Superstars.
there's a new
The
one
first Mario,
coming out soon too.
because Super Mario Party was kind of sucked.
Oh no, it was
Mario,
good. It just didn't have a lot of boards. Is the problem.
yeah, and it wasn't online.
It
No
had
online
it had
capability.
online. Yeah,
Oh, I thought for some reason. Never mind. Sorry.
it had online, and then they even
Yeah.
literally like a month before the second one, the Superstars one came out, they added a new online feature where you could actually play just like the full thing online. But it had like a different game mode that was online.
Yeah, we play Superstars. It's awesome. We play that together.
Yeah,
That's the one
I don't
game we
have
played.
Superstars. I
Yeah,
keep
it
forgetting
was on
about it.
sale. It was on sale. If you watch the eShop, they actually have some good deals.
Yeah, I'd rather get physical, but yeah.
But yeah. So next, unless you want to jump in.
Well, yeah, I
go,
mean, before I got the
yeah.
Switch and everything, I had the PS Vita, which I
Yeah,
do
that's
like
right.
a lot. I do like the PS Vita. It had a lot more games. It also was backwards compatible digitally with the PSP line, so there was some PSP games that you can get on there. Basically, the whole library actually. Before the store shut down, I think the store's gone now, so you can't really get them
Yeah.
legally anymore. You can. It is super easy to jailbreak if you want to jailbreak it though. I have not done that to mine, but you can do it very easily. I got it to play Persona 4 Golden. Fantastic game. Never finished it though.
Yep.
And I got it. I played a couple. I played a Gundam game on there. That was a Japanese import game that I got. And then I was playing the Jack and Dexter series on there as well, and I believe Final Fantasy
nice.
10/10 to like re-release on it.
Nice.
That thing is great for RPGs. It had 2 thumbsticks, which is awesome. It had a touchpad on the back. I think the screen was also a touch screen. Yes, it's a touch screen, and it also had a touchpad on the back. It would emulate the L3 and R3 by using the back of the touchpad. It had 2 triggers. It basically was just a PlayStation 4 controller with a screen. And also, you could play your PlayStation 4 games on it wirelessly, remotely.
Yeah, I never had a Vita. Those are awesome. I was thinking about getting one, but I'm all set because they're still expensive because everyone's jailbreaking them. They're popular.
Yeah, and I'm not getting the PlayStation Portal. I refuse. I think it's a waste of money.
That's a waste of money. You might as well just get a backbone and fucking excuse my language, put your phone in that thing. You might as well just put your phone and get a backbone and
Yeah,
I
could literally play all those games on my Steam Deck.
Yeah,
which I have a Steam Deck.
And that's another debate I'll get into a little bit later. But next up, to move along here, I got my Miu Mini, which I'm kind of gonna move a little quick here because my Miu Mini Plus, got the Miu Mini Plus when this came out. Never gave emulation. I never believed in emulation. Never got into it. A couple of my friends used to play it. Can't talk anymore. A couple of my friends used to play Mario Kart, Double Dash,
Mhm.
emulation via PC. I think it was the Dolphin emulator.
Yep, probably. Yeah, that sounds about right.
It was fun with the controllers because you could use original GameCube controllers. But I never thought of it as something. Oh, that sounds. I always thought I always brushed over it like, oh, that's cool, but it's cool, but it sounds like a lot of work, and it's a pain. It sounds like a pain. No, it's not a lot of work at all. Just need to download your emulator. Make sure your system is compatible. In my case, I got the Miu Mini Plus, which is my first emulation device. It was very affordable. It was like under $70, maybe 60, $70. I got it on sale when I actually got it kind of. I wanted the purple one, but this is the original Game Boy. Yeah, gray one. Even right out of the box, thing comes with thousands of ROMs. All for original, all
Which
your
is
old
not
school.
actually legal for to do them. For them to do that, but yeah.
Yep.
But it's from China, so they don't care.
They don't care. Yep.
Because their laws don't give a shit about copyright.
Yep. And then this thing, I wanted the purple one, but anyways, the operating system out of the box isn't bad. If you just want to play games, not worry about it. I installed Onion OS, which is excellent. It's the best operating system I've ever played. One of the best I've ever played on a handheld. I would even think it's better than the Switch. I think it's better than the Switch operating system. It's just, well, it's different. It's an emulator, so you can't really compare an emulator to a. But so easy to use. The game switcher, switch between all your games, especially when you have thousands of ROMs. You're able to just go into RetroArch. It comes with RetroArch to do retro achievements, which this one has Wi-Fi. The RGX 33500, that's its competitor, the one that is slightly bigger than this, it's the same thing. That the RGX, the Ambernick, does not have Wi-Fi. I wanted the one. I'm so happy I got this one because I kind of was comparing them, but I was like, oh, the Miu Mini. I watched a lot of reviews on it, and my coworker at the time was telling me about it, but I'm so glad I got this one because I love the Wi-Fi. Because Retro Achievements, you can play all of your old games. Just create a Retro Achievements account, sign in. It comes with RetroArch on Onion OS, so then you don't have to worry about it. Just sign in with put your username in here. Make sure the ROM is compatible because a lot of the ROMs that came with the device doesn't pick up as recognized. So, not going to tell you anything else about that. But however you get your ROMs, make sure your ROM is compatible. And then you can just start getting your achievements, and shines a whole new light on these old games because it's remember, like it's like playing 360 when you're trying to get the achievements in games. Except it's so cool because we never had the achievements when the old school games were launched. Yeah. So it just brings a whole new. It's awesome, but it is nice and pocketable. I got some accessories for it. I got the travel case, which this is a holder. This is actually a grip. This is a grip, and it's a case. So I just take it out and you can charge it while it's in the case if you want. Then it goes face down. Now it's a case. So cool. It doesn't take up a lot of. Yeah, the grip is a little more because it is kind of a small handheld, so the grip is actually kind of nice to feeling on your hands. Just Onion OS is, and the fact that the community just constantly is updating and improving, and it's a community based operating system, which I was so impressed. Yeah, so I love it.
Open source one, yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I was just nice. 110%, guys. Check out these Miu Minis. Even the original Miu Mini is
cool.
They have,
I think, new
it's a little
versions
smaller
now. It come with thumbsticks and everything too. By the way.
Yeah. Yep. And you can play all the way from old school. You can play CP. You can play. Oh my gosh, Lynx. You can play. What's the real Atari? You can play Ataris. Onion OS, you just go into your couple clicks and you just go right and check off the emulators that you want, and they just whatever you want, and you can select them and play all the way from all the old school all the way up to PS1. It plays PS1 pretty well, actually. it's I mean that's the cap. It caps off at PS1. But and you wouldn't something this size you're not going to play. You're not really going to play N64 or Dreamcast games, so that's
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah.
But the fact that it plays PS1 is still cool.
Yeah.
Up to PS1.
Definitely.
But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my analog pocket does also can play ROMs because I have it sideloaded because they made this very easy to develop with. So people were able to sideload in all the emulators and stuff like that. Not all of them work yet. Or at least when I last used this and updated it, they weren't all working. But a lot of like the more popular stuff, like Super Nintendo and all that stuff, were working. But there's some things that just don't work on this guy. But this one I got. This is when they released their first special edition. So this is a glow in the dark one.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah, so this glows in the dark. I think I did a video on this a while back, so you can check that out on the channel. But the thing that I like about this is I can also play my physical games because this is using a thing called FPGA, which is emulating the hardware, not the software. So it runs exactly like it would on like a Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. There is adapters you can buy, so you can play like Game Gear games, Lynx games, and some other games on here physically. But they got a slot for a micro SD card. There's all sorts of different like options and stuff like that you can do to the screen. This is I believe an OLED screen if I remember correctly. Nice and big. It's bright. The sound is great. It's so cool. I sold Nelson on getting one. It's not cheap. They're $250 usually. But I think it's really worth its ticket price for that cool Game Boy form factor and everything. It's got triggers. People can develop their own games specifically just for this console as well. I don't know if anybody has, but you can. But it's an awesome thing.
The fact you can sideload and physical games is awesome.
Yep.
So do you have what emulators do you have on there for?
I just got a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know if it's charged. I haven't used this in a bit.
Or what systems, or like what? Not the actual names of the emulators, but like what systems can you emulate?
Let me see here. We got loading up right now. I can tell you about it. It took me like an hour to load everything in here. So there is 64 arcade games on here, or 64 arcade machines. There is 6 arcade multi-machines. There's 3 computer options. We've got 18 consoles and 14 handhelds. So it can play Atari, Arcadia, ColecoVision, Genesis, Master System, Neo Geo, the NES, the Odyssey 2, the PC Engine. We got the SNES. We got Super Game Boy. We've got the Game & Watch systems. You got Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Gear. There's a Tamagotchis thing in here. You can play the Wonder Swan Color on here, which is awesome. There's a Japanese-only machine. And there's also Flappy Bird on here. You can play Flappy Bird.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see, but I'll show you some of my.
And it's in color. It's not really showing up because it's too bright, but yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't charged this thing since I got it, and it's still working, and I've had it for like 2 years now.
Jeez. Wow. Yeah. Does that have Wi-Fi?
No. I don't think it does have Wi-Fi, no. But it is USB-C.
Oh.
It also can take the link cables, by the way.
Oh.
The OG link cables.
Yeah. I also have USB-C is nice. I have this on the Mio also.
Yeah.
I have it on the
so if you can hook this up to a Game Boy or a Game Boy Color as well, or a Game Boy Advance.
That's awesome.
To trade like Pokemon or stuff like that, or battle.
That is awesome. Yeah. For mine, I have Amiga, Arcade, Atari 2600, Atari 7800, Atari Lynx, CPS1, CPS2, CPS3, ColecoVision, Commodore, original Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Gear, Genesis, and Television, original DS, NES, Neo Geo Pocket, Sega Master System, SNES, PS1, and the Windware Swan. What's that? The
Wonder Swan? That's the thing I
Wonder
was just
Swan.
talking about.
Yeah.
It was
Oh yeah, I
a
have that.
Japanese
Yeah.
only console, but it has a lot of cool like games on it.
Yeah, I have 70 games on that. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but the fact that you just have thousands of ROMs on in your pocket is. I don't think I'm going to travel with this, like I said, because I love it. But there's no need to bring two consoles. I'm going to be on vacation. I'm not going to be gaming that much. Mainly, it's going to be on the plane and maybe the occasional like sit down at night before bed and play a couple games. But I'm not. There's no need to bring two. I also want to bring the Switch in case my wife and I want to play some Mario Party or something on the tray table on the plane or whatever. But yeah, I don't like bringing too many consoles because again, I'm just nervous of losing them and
Mm-hmm.
or getting stolen
Yeah.
So um,
Now, my last trip, I brought the analog pocket with me because it fits in my bag that I have very easily, and I brought my Steam Deck, which is my current favorite handheld
yep.
device of all time right now.
And
I love this thing.
real quick, because we're kind of want to kind of get into the debates. I started collecting Game Boys. If you've seen the channel, I'm going to brush over this because if you've seen if not, go check out TCG Boys. I show off my collection. The only Game Boy I'm missing out of the collection now is um, my gosh,
Do you have the micro?
the micro, yeah. And I might, I've not now, but didn't do all this work for nothing. But I might try to clean some of these out. This comes to a point where you kind of want to sell some of your stuff, but I'm not there yet. I still like my collection, but I mean, it's just kind of sitting there. I don't really play all of them, so eventually I might start selling them, but not now. I like them for now to have the collection, but yeah. And then Game Boys, you've seen that. That's pretty much it for my handhelds. But my favorites right now is the Mio Mini that I just raved about, and the Switch OLED. I was playing a lot of the PSP, but kind of had my time with that. I'm in a phase now. I had my PSP phase because I can jailbreak and this is fun, but it's still fun. But like the Mio Mini with the retro achievements, A+. The Switch, A+, because I love the OLED screen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about it. But now, do you okay if I bring up a couple debates, or do you want to talk about
Go for it.
about your systems?
Whatever. Go for it.
So I wanted to mention to try to comment below, guys, or Kyle sells me on because I'm a console gamer. Kyle has sold me on this before. He doesn't have to talk too long about it. But Switch OLED. If I already have a Switch OLED, should I get a Steam Deck? I'm tempted because I just had a birthday. I was going to get myself a nice birthday gift.
Yeah, the Steam Deck
For the
is a
Switch,
totally
the Steam
different
Deck.
thing.
Yeah,
I mean, yes, it can
yeah.
also emulate Switch, which is cool.
Yeah, but I was thinking about getting a Steam Deck, but I just don't want to have to go rebuy a bunch of games because it's nice when you're already a PC gamer because you already can play you can just bring all your games onto that if you want, but I'd have to pretty much restart a collection, which is a lot of money.
I
But
mean,
it's still a
yeah,
great-
but that's only if you're going to be buying what you want to buy, which Steam has sales all the time. All the time. And there's like several hundred third-party stores that you can buy from.
And the LCD is only $350 right now because that's the old one. But I'm
Yeah,
gonna get the
I
OLED.
would suggest the OLED version. It is so much nicer in comparison. It also runs better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you get more space. Well, you can pick your.
yeah, but you can increase the space by just throwing a micro SD card in here, or you can open it up and swap out the SSD in there as well. But if you get a micro SD card, I have a 2 terabyte micro SD card in here that adds 2 terabytes of space to it.
I should just get the bare minimum one for space then, and just get a micro SD.
Yeah, but if you get the bare minimum, I don't think you get the OLED. That's the only thing.
Well, no. I'll probably get the OLED, but I'll get the one that
get the little bit cheaper
minimal
one.
Space.
Yeah,
I'll get the OLED, but I'll get the cheaper one for space because I think the terabyte is $650. That's the high end.
I got the most expensive one
the mid
at
one,
the time.
The mid one is The mid one is 550. I think that's 512 gigabytes.
Mm-hmm. I got the one because it comes with anti-glare coating, so it's a lot harder for like other light to glare and make it hard to see. And then it also came with its own case. It also came with a boot up animation that I don't give a shit about. But I love this thing.
And you love it for traveling. You love it for traveling too, right?
I love this thing. It doesn't last super duper long. For a lot of games, you're probably only going to get like 4 or 5 hours. If you're playing heavier games, you can get like probably like 6 to 8 on like RPGs. This is a great RPG machine, by the way. Not RPG, like indie machine. I love playing indie games on this thing. I'll play this for like an hour before I go to bed. Probably not tonight because it's already getting late. But
yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. Yeah, but
it comes with a full controller. It's got 2 haptic feedback, touch sensitive things. These are also buttons on top of that. Plus, you get your regular ABXY. You get your start select buttons. You got a Steam button here. You got another button that shows you other settings. Volume rocker. You got the power button. You got programmable buttons on the back here that I never use, but you can do it. The thumbsticks are great. They're not hollow thumbsticks, but you can mod the heck out of this thing. It's very easy to open up, especially the newer edition, and swap things out in it compared to the older version. The older version is a lot more of a pain in the ass, so they made it easier. It's very easy to swap this screen out for a newer screen if you need to. On this edition, the older one, the screen, you have to take the whole thing apart, take everything out to get to the screen. This one, the screen is right in the front and easy to get to. So if you ever break it or something like that, you can swap that out. It runs.
And I'll be able to play Ready or Not.
I haven't tried to see if Ready or Not runs on here, but a lot of games do run on here. I'm assuming it'll probably run on here. It runs Linux, so you can also boot to a Linux desktop. So I've been able to make it work with the Epic Game Store, the Ubisoft Game Store. You can get emulation on here very easily. It can play everything up to like Dolphin, no problem.
Jeez, yeah, that's awesome.
It's sick as hell. You can put it in.
It's
a cheap ass dock.
Think of it like, it's a
keyboard and mouse with it.
PC. It's a handheld PC.
It is. That is exactly what it is. But it runs its own operating system. Is the only difference. It runs very well for the most part. It's pretty quiet.
You can run desktop. You can do desktop mode.
But it's people do. Like I said, it's Linux. It runs Linux. So you switch to Linux. It does like a sort of like a soft reboot type of thing to switch between the two. It's easier if you have a keyboard and mouse to run it, but you can use just the Steam Deck to use the desktop part. That's what I've been using, is just this to do the desktop part, and I've been able to get everything that I need to do so I can play other things on it easily. It's honestly, it's such a cool device. I wasn't planning on initially getting it. My girlfriend's the one that convinced me to get it. She was like, "Hey, I'm surprised you don't have that." I'm like, "Yeah," and then they released this refresh model of it. I was like, "Well, I guess I'm buying the bullet because this sounds awesome." OLED screen sold.
Yeah, but so one last question, because we're gonna wrap it up. But for me, like, the games really comes down to it, because I love the hardware. But I feel like I know you said indie games, but like, what games besides? Because I know it's cool to play, like, you can play like all the regular console games in your hand, but any exclusive games that I should check out besides indie?
There's a lot of it.
Counter-Strike.
Yeah, you can play Counter-Strike on here easily.
Yeah.
You can play Half-Life on here. You can play all sorts of you can just play anything in the Steam library, basically, for the most part. You can play on this thing. There's a few games you can't play. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds won't launch on this. I've tried it just to see if it would work. At least right now, it doesn't launch. But companies can always do stuff to make it work with the system.
You can. And before you buy a game, you can always check the Steam if it's compatible.
Yeah,
which is a nice
yeah,
feature.
and
If the
even
Steam
games
Deck
that say they're not compatible, most games that have a controller layout, which is like every game this day and age now, usually will run with this. That new game, Black Myth Wukong, plays on this. Doesn't play like super fantastic. You get around, I think they said it's like 24 frames, which is not great, but it's playable.
Yep. Yeah, I need to.
So
Yeah.
like some
Anyways,
games are more
I've
demanding.
been
You got to
thinking.
change the settings and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But you can play game. You can play Call of Duty on this. Probably no problem.
Well. Yeah, but then I have to buy a whole other version of COD to screw that.
No, you can also play Xbox games on here by using the Xbox One service. So
The cloud.
yeah,
Yeah, the cloud.
well, yeah, the cloud service, or
Cloud.
you can just get the games to install this.
Mm-hmm.
It works. Yeah, people have things out there that make it work. So you can literally just play the Xbox games if you have like Game Pass and download them and play
Wow, you can download. Okay, because I do have I have Game Pass for console.
Yeah,
But not
it takes
PC.
a little bit of extra work because it's not officially supported, but you can do it. Same thing with like Epic Games Store stuff. You get any games from Epic Games Store because they give away free games every every freaking week. A lot of those games can be played on here as well.
Yeah.
And you just have to use a side loading thing that loads those games up for you. You can play them.
Oh, I'm getting tired too. But yeah, it's definitely on my list.
It's
I'll think of
an awesome device.
I'll think about it.
I love it.
I will think about it. And all
Yeah.
right, guys. Well, that's pretty much the debate I wanted to have. Is that worth it? And comment below if that's worth it. If you have a Switch OLED or a Switch regular Switch and a Steam Deck, or if you just have other handhelds. And I like to compare the Switch to it because that's the more relative handheld right now.
It also plays your Switch games better. They
That's
look
cool.
better.
That's
They
cool.
can be played in 4K or whatever this OLED goes up to. I think it's 980 or something like that. But you play it in better quality.
Yeah.
Usually they run better too. But yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know what's your favorite. If there's a comment section somewhere, let us know. If it's on YouTube, definitely let us know. What's your favorite handheld?
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
All right. We'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.